Alrighty, good afternoon, folks, and welcome to Smudcast 374, How Tolkien Holds Fantasy Back. Don't think I've ever thought of that before, that some guy from, 100 years ago is suddenly stopping the entire fantasy genre today, 2021, from whatever, I don't know what, but it's possible.
It makes no sense. He started the whole modern thing. How can you hold it back?
Yeah, he popularized what was happening for the past 50 years during his time, and it took a while for him to write those books, and his entire gamut of his world, creating all these characters and scenarios and timelines. It's quite a long thing to keep in your head and write down on paper and plan out. So some people are lucky. They get to do that as authors, to plan stuff out as a massive world and write all their lives. And you really gotta be one heck of a guy or girl to want to do that and to actually be successful. So Tolkien's one of the lucky guys, and is still celebrated today as a result.
Yeah, and it's mainly because this is about medieval fantasy, especially. What Tolkien did was to pick and choose and spin on mythology. That's how he built his fantasy world.
I mean, he took
a lot of inspiration from all the things we had, and for example, the dwarves and the various types of elves. There are so many different types of them in all over Europe, not just in Great Britain and Ireland. But that you have in Germany alone, the word gnome, for example, has I think at least 5 different versions, of which some are overlapping with leprechauns, others are overlapping with nice little helping spirits, others are overlapping with little creatures that live in the forest, others with stealing babies, and all of these sorts of things. And what Tolkien did was he defined. He got inspired by certain names of it, and defined them for his story, and made actual races out of some of them. You can make an if you wanna look for similarities, you can look for Shakespeare in Midsummer Night's Dream, where Shakespeare took upon actual mythological figures that I think it's based on actual mythological figures. I'm not too firm on that part. That he built his world out of for that play.
Oh yeah, he was studying all kinds of languages and history during his time at university, and one of the books that I recall that was directly influenced him was called The Well at the World's End, or The Well at the End. That was by William Morin? I can't remember his last name, but I do remember in that book there was a character called Gandalf, not Gandalf, and there's very little magic. Everything's very sort of whimsical and romantic, and it's about a man trying to discover the love of a woman, as a bunch of knights try to vie for her attention, and all the fights they go through to get to this place to drink from the well. So this is very common stuff. We've been hearing about mystical wells of immortality and knights trying to win the hearts of maidens and this and that. And Tolkien was like, yeah, I'm going to take this and take that. And there's other people also before the 19th century that started off the fantasy genre, but it never really took off till Tolkien came by. So
yeah, and it's just that lots of medieval fantasy has built on Tolkien's baseline, if you will, with the races he invented, and put a little bit of their own spins on it. Then you have so a lot is derivative. That is always the case when you have a new genre coming up or getting big. That is, we talked about the isekai genre, for example. that has been in existence for a long time, but now has its peak era, if you will, with lots of spins on it, because everyone wants to reinvent it to stand out. Or simply because I have an idea that that would be interesting to explore, and some of these make it into the best ones make it into anime. And with fantasy. With fantasy books, there is a similarity in that, and that you have a lot of things that are similar. Like you have your war between some elves and orcs and humans in between. The Dungeons and Dragons thing is that essentially, with a lot of more stuff that was built on top of that.
It is interesting to analyze how Tolkien became popular, because, as we know, he wrote for his kids. And this is the implication that his fan base, or at least his audience, were a bunch of children that he thought were intelligent enough to understand all these ideas in so much detail, in much the same way a fan base for the isekai genre, that was your example, of gamers who know fantasy, who know, like, there's lots of stories of people going to another world in anime and manga.
Isekai, most of isekai is a subversion of fantasy that we have today.
Well, I would say
because it's the this world character that knows about video game logic and fantasy setting logic, getting into a fantasy world,
right,
and using that knowledge. Either that works or it backfires.
Right, it's not just
while the older isekai that we had, like those who hunt elves, the characters were not familiar with fantasy settings.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Well, this is the idea that there is a alien or someone who's intelligent or advanced or technologically savvy, or who's special, has a gift, is granted a unique ability, which we would instantly say, okay, this is a cheat, this is not fair, this is a Mary Sue, yada yada. All the literary guys are going, what is this crap? But
it's a gimmick. It's a superhero.
That's the gimmick. Yeah, that's the thing that latches you on. Oh, this guy's going to dominate. This guy's going to be awesome. And sometimes he is, and sometimes he isn't. So what you have is a subversion of the idea, which I think is fascinating, because everyone can relate to it, everyone likes it. And anyone who's ever had a dream of writing a story or making their own RPG or having a premise goes, wait a second, this is something I just thought up 20 years ago and I was playing on the Nintendo, and here it is in a book form. I could read it. That's cool. And everyone goes, yes, I remember that. And it's their flavor of Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy or what have you.
Mm-hmm. So, and what I wanted to get with the building on the base ideas of Tolkien is when you go through the first edition of Dungeons and Dragons was very simple, very very direct, inspired.
Definitely.
And when then you look at the later stuff, and once you are aware of AD&D and the planes, which we visit in Planescape Torment. Right. Especially in the game Planescape Torment, especially like if you know the game lore, if you had those lore books, you were already familiar with that. But that video game is placed in Sigil, the city at the center of the plains. You cannot tell me that is medieval fantasy being held back. That is beyond imagination, I would almost say.
Yeah, that's the great thing about the fantasy element or the genre is for the setting. Mm-hmm. And people who know the setting go, oh, I want to read about that kind of story, like the Ninth World, for example. We were introduced to that with Numenera, and the setting is amazing, but it's so crazy. You have to know how to treat it as a setting, so it's not just this whimsical wonderland of technology and magic. It's too much,
especially if you want to role play in it.
Oh, that's crazy. That would be like the DM can do anything, and it's too much. You
can't just like when you say, oh, we play this fantasy setting. Most people nowadays can expect what's coming. Numenera, it's not exactly the case.
Right. So this concept of being so far advanced that science and technology are the same is been treated before in all kinds of science fiction stories as well as fantasy stories. And that's kind of what fantasy was back in the day. Whether you have a magical ring or a magical machine, it's still fantastical. It's still magic.
Back then we often didn't think of it as technology behind it. We just thought of it magic is magic.
Jules Verne,
Terry Brooks,
exactly.
Terry Brooks in his Shannara thingy.
Yep.
He essentially plays it. You start reading it. It's a fantasy setting.
Yep.
But when you are very perceptive, you can already spot in the first book, the first three, but even the first book, when you're very perceptive, when you've written a fantasy, that is, I would say, you can spot that the artifacts, the magic items used in that, resemble items from our time. So the whole Shannara books, they play in our future. It's a post-apocalyptic world of our time.
The Elfstones are batteries. Some of the weapons are they can resonate with certain things. They can accumulate power somehow.
Oh yeah. I forgot the names. The wizard guy in the first thing, he uses a flashlight. It's just not named flashlight.
Right.
It's described.
Yeah, there's giant creatures which aren't too unbelievable, like a giant cat. It's like, okay, yeah, we could make a giant cat. We just have to figure out how to scale up the genetics for that. There's all kinds of things, like even the science behind some of the magic is explained with that wizard who liked bombs. He preferred using powder because powder and magic is too random, too misunderstood. But powder is more scientific, and he liked that about magic. So he made explosive devices. So there's various elements of combining a rationale to the magical aspect, which catches the reader's attention a lot more. The same way in Isekai, the game mechanics you can wrap your brain around it. It's like, oh, this is the logic of the game world, which is created by the gods or whoever. Now I can allow my imagination to accept this setting. So
and then you have authors who go the other direction. They completely abandon the races Tolkien invented, do their own setting. And Robert Jordan is such a case. He has an evil race called Trollocs. They're not trolls in your the sense you're used to them. They're hybrids that were created by the Dark One from humans and animal parts. So they all have animal heads.
Well, I do like how the anime manga crowd just openly accepts any races that are feminine. So the cat girls,
how did we get here?
It's just funny that they'll just accept the fact that there's a race of dog people or cat people or lizard people or whatever, whether it's a fetish, whether it's a sexual aspect of aesthetics, whatever the class, like always girls are transforming into giant creatures.
It seems to be more rare in Western fantasy, yes.
Yeah, there always has to be a feminine element, I've noticed, to a lot of these stories. So there might be dark elves, there could be blonde.
In part that may be because the Japanese have the very prominent myths about foxes and raccoons, the kitsune and tanuki, which were magical animals that disguised themselves as humans.
They anthropomorph.
Maybe they're translated onto all these other things.
So many aspects of nature, they just, let's make that into a person. It's like, sure, a tree can be a person. Let's do that. But it's not Treebeard in Tolkien. It's literally a hot, thin, tall.
Oh, we had variants of dryads in Western mythology.
It's an attractive version of that.
Yeah, but we came up with that in Western fantasy ourselves.
And Japan refined it so it's sexy and cute and chibi and all kinds of other flavors. And everyone just goes, yep, I'm okay with that. They just
is Alex Halo around?
Yes, I'm sure he's around. He's like, yes, we want this. This is good. This is all.
Yeah, where I wanted to go with Robert Jordan is that so he had his. It's only humans in that world, plus the Trollocs, which are an invented race. You could say that's inspired by Tolkien. You have enough. Their officers are even more vile creatures, also corrupted beings by the Dark One, and then there's only one other. He has his own version of ogres, which are nice. They're nature-loving hippies, if you will. And you have a tree people, of which by the time of the story there's only one left. Which is really a tree person, but human-sized and from the description, not as tree-like as the Tolkien Traians, just has lots of such features. Like I think the eyes are described green like pistachios or something. I may be wrong on the details. Point I'm trying to make is Jordan wrote the first two books, which is the closed story, very similar to the structure of Lord of the Rings, without being Lord of the Rings. He only wrote that way because it was his first big thing that he wrote completely by himself, and wanted to see whether he could write a fantasy story. So that's why he got inspired by Tolkien's basic story structure there. After that, he goes off into his own thing completely. However, the fantasy elements he uses are all completely different from Tolkien. The magic is of a much higher level in that world. Like more, let's say more higher level is maybe the wrong word. More common. And the more you read on, when you get some flashbacks from ages past, and meet some of the let's say super officers of the Dark One, and they talk about that time because they're actually from that time. They were just frozen in a time lock, if you will, imprisoned. And those in those flashbacks, you get the impression that the very magic in Wheel of Time itself does resemble science. There is a science to it on how to use it, utilize it, and all the machinery they had in the past. It's not as direct, or rather, I don't want to say crude, but it's not in that way the same as in Terry Brooks. It's on a more sophisticated technological level, but it does resemble a lot of this might have all been technology, and now we after all this is lost, all this knowledge is lost, we just use it as science. And there are various jokes about that, subtle jokes between the lines, between for example the sorceresses of the White Tower, which is the in the mainland where the story plays. When they're throwing their fireballs, they're doing the arm motion of as if they're throwing the actual fireball from their palms. And once they meet the desert people, who in their history are taught that they should be the servants of the sorceresses of the White Tower, those servants are then completely baffled by how inept the sorceresses are at utilizing the magic, because when it comes to a battle, the desert people, they just stand there and just the fireballs just appear around them and fly towards the enemies, and they look at the sorceresses and like, why are you making these throwing motions? Like they think the people they're supposed to serve by, due to the ancient legends, they think they're retarded. That the allegedly most powerful magic users are retarded because they make these throwing motions, and because the sorceresses don't even know that they don't need to do that, because they've lost so much knowledge throughout the ages.
A lot of common tropes in fantasy, at least in the manga world, is someone comes back after 100 years or 1,000 years or 10,000 years, whatever the time period is, and they are just amazing at magic. And the world has degraded to not use magic as much, and they're all using chants, they're all using patterns, they'll have to like take their time and use their hands and arms, and it ends up being the guy who came back and just do it instantly. And he's trying to hide that power.
Yeah. I'll just say I've started reading a book that Wisp will really like in regards to fantasy.
Oh yeah.
Today.
I think
it's going to be a sarcastic joke.
No, it's called The Wind Singer.
Wind Singer, okay.
It's about a city that's separated into districts by colour, and it's all about getting better exams and being more, better and virtuous. And it's a utopia where they've got rid of all anger and violence, apart from all the anger and violence that's in there since they resent each other. And it's a fantasy thing where a young girl's got to go on an adventure, find a wind singer, and defeat an ancient evil that actually rules the city.
Oh,
it's good. It's really good. My girlfriend read it at school years ago. Couldn't remember what it was, and asked me last week if I'd ever heard of it. I just literally looked up on Google, book about city with coloured districts, found it. She's ordered the trilogy, and I'm just halfway through the first book. It's quite good. But I don't know if it's medieval, because obviously it's a fantasy world, but they just live in a city that I think it's just like based on like Rome and stuff, like circular buildings and stuff. It's really quite good, actually. I've been reading it while I've been ill today, so.
Okay.
All right. Well,
and I also hope you get better.
Well, we gotta get started on the video because we've been rambling for about 20 minutes.
This is one more example that goes in a completely different direction.
God damn it!
I can refute the whole premise of this whole video without having started it. The third example would be something like Walter Moer's City of the Dreaming Books, or Sleeping Books, which is it starts with a race of dragons that lives in the volcano. Oh, what a surprise! They're humanoid and they're obsessed with literature. Like their whole society is built around literature. The main character is an aspiring author, but nobody wants to read him because he writes in a too autistic manner.
Oh my god, he's a romance novelist. Jesus Christ.
No, he does write. He does write
poetry,
factual books. He did try poetry and failed, and he did try to write stories and failed. He had his coming through as by describing the very story, the adventure he would go on in their very book. That would be his breakthrough. He just this what his little adventure that he went through, and he's seeking out. I forgot why exactly. The city of Dreaming Books, which is, I think I mentioned it in a previous Smudcast a little bit. It's a giant library that was always built layer atop layer atop layer atop layer. So you have the town at the top now, and beneath that you have an endless dungeon, cellar to cellar to cellar to cellar. I have no clue how many levels down it goes, of a library essentially, all the way down to the point where you find Cthulhu-esque monsters, and it's still shelves upon shelves full of books. Most are crap, and then there are some really rare ones, and you have adventurers going down into this library dungeon to find precious rare books, and it's written in a witty manner, similar to Terry Pratchett, which is also a good example. Which is an example of a spin on classic fantasy with a humorous element. And yeah, it goes completely in its own direction of fantasy, while also being written in a manner where the more you know yourself about books, the more of a bibliophile you are, the more you understand about grammar and even making books and how to set the sentences for printing, you will laugh your ass off of jokes that rely on turning a page that nobody else will get. That's on top of the already present humor. This is just so I don't understand how anyone would come to the conclusion or the assumption that Tolkien is holding medieval fantasy back unless all you're reading is the repetitive trash that exists in every genre of every medium.
Yeah, well, Wes, the answer is really simple. The reason why Tolkien's holding medieval fantasy back is because all the hack writers just copy Tolkien completely, and they don't like the fact that Tolkien did it better than they did.
Yeah, but that's the Sturgeon's Law bullshit. That's just the Sturgeon's Law crap. It's like saying that Metallica is holding metal back. Like, fucking what?
Yeah, the fuck Tolkien could have written science fiction, and it would have been still good work because he knows how to write and he understood language so well that he could have made alien languages and had technology, and that would have been
exactly. Imagine if Tolkien had lived not in the period between the wars, but as in like in the 70s and 80s.
Oh yeah, he'd be doing sci-fi.
Lord of the Rings become
yeah. Anyway,
and this dystopia. But apparently Tolkien's shriveled grasp is breaking through the soil and grasping at fantasy, trying to
Jesus
hold on to fantasy and dragging it into his grave.
Yeah, like Shakespeare's holding on to Disney movies because they're all based on Hamlet.
Alrighty, let's get started. Let's get through the super chats first. Here's Bear Business. Thank you, Bear Business. This video may lay out some sound arguments. Oh, you have high hopes. But before I hear them, F this message on screen. Yeah, I know. It's a pretty silly thing to say.
Bear Business is serious business.
Yeah. Here's Neil. Thanks for the 10. A question about world building. Okay. Would it help to view world building as constructing a puzzle? Yes, it would definitely. That's one way to look at it. It can be daunting, and I find visualizing the process easier for me to tackle constructing a world. You know, there's the only bad thing about world building is it takes a very long time. And once you have your own style, and usually when you learn to write, you learn how to be brief and to be succinct. And world building is kind of like, well, you need to flesh out the world. And if you connect that with a puzzle, like there's a secret to the world or there's a secret to the thing you're describing, that's great. That's great stuff. I think a mystery element in any part of writing, even a non-mystery genre, is a component to a plot. You need to have what is going on and why, and have that question answered.
Relationship between the elements.
It's a composite. You want them to. You want them
from
to be,
a certain.
Well, you want detail or exposition to be one and the same with mystery, I think.
Yeah, and from a certain point of world building, the puzzle pieces will fall into place by themselves and inspire each other where they lead to, and inspire new ideas that fit right in. And one thing that is part of this process, if you do it right, is that you will know and have written so much more about your world than your readers will ever know.
Right. So there's lots
because
of ways
your world needs to be consistent. That's all the stuff behind the stage.
Right. And
it needs to be consistent so that in front of the stage, no inconsistencies are happening.
And when you're writing succinctly, there's no reason to go off the flowery path of descriptions, because then you're wasting time. So what you want to do is connect all the elements of symbolism, exposition, world building together. So you can describe your main character's emblem and it represents something, and that leads to the thing it represents. So a building, an organization, a class, and all of a sudden now you're describing the group that they're a part of, and then you meet a person from that group, and that person has a plot.
Well,
and it goes on and on.
Because the book that I'm reading literally just has a very short introduction that's just like a old campfire tale. And it literally is 2 pages, and it just tells you how everything got set up. And it tells you the mystery, and then it goes straight into the daily lives of the main character. It's like you know pretty much everything you need to know about the world that they reside in within 2 pages.
Yeah, and it's such
I
a
feel like
thing.
it's necessary for the reader to be hooked to the story. And like, if you just like start with the characters like interacting, that's really like be a good premise.
Well, when you do the classic fantasy, yeah.
I'm sorry. So the book starts with, at the time the strangers came. That's the opening line of the book. Well, the opening line of the actual story is Sagaho, Pumperine, Sagaho, Hog. It's just someone swearing in a foreign language. And that's, so there's a different thing. The first words you read draw you into, like, oh, strangers. And then it's just straight into, like, a teenager swearing. I liked it. It gripped me. And I don't usually get gripped by a lot of books.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, that's basic starting point and structure to go with starting a fantasy story when you're trying to learn the craft is you start with some backwater village in buttfuck nowhere, because the people there probably only know about their relevant vicinity of the world itself. So the character that goes on the adventure can explore the world in a similar manner to the reader.
But always keep it small to start with when you first start your ideas. Don't go for the grand whole plan straight away. Build it like you say, it's a puzzle, little pieces add on each time.
Yeah, so the character will know a little more than the reader and probably learn faster about the world than the reader, but you're kind of on a similar level. You both have no idea of the wider world, which is part of an adventure. Explore.
Yeah. It's like you can't explore your local supermarket. It's just.
This is true.
Well, there are lots of people who never venture out of their city. People often never venture out of their cities, or never walked from one end of the city to the other end to even know how big they are. They just know them from bus stations or such.
Tube station.
Yeah, tube stations. And I did that when I was in Berlin for a while, like using the tube stations, as well as then one day deciding I'm just going to walk for a month. And the city took on a completely different shape in my head and a completely different size. Because from the tube stations, it's just like set pieces that are just connected by the tubes, like very slow teleporters. But walking from every place to every other place, which can be several tube stations, like 3 or 5 or more, connects everything. And suddenly the city became so much smaller. Mm-hmm. And I got a grasp for, okay, this is how big this city is. And I can look on a map and know, I walked from this end of the city to that end of the city. That took so long, and it feels about like this. Mm-hmm. And I could extrapolate and guess how big my country actually is. And suddenly the planet feels so much smaller. Just walk.
All right. Let's get to the video. 31 and a half minutes. We're not going to get through even half of this today. It's a very soft-spoken video, so I'm cranking it all the way up, but I do apologize about the choice of sound quality. This is a very small YouTuber, so when did he make this? January, I think? Yeah. Yeah, January 27th.
So guys, please don't hit him. So, he's only little.
Very little guy. Okay, anyway, let's go.
I want you to imagine a ragtag group of members of various races that look and act mostly just like humans, but with varying heights and proportions. They stand against a green tide of orcish menaces with hunched posture and slanted brows. Orcs who are aided by the uneducated, backwards, savage tribes of corruptible, greedy men. These orcs are led by an evil emperor, hell-bent on fulfilling his true master's wishes of world domination and the destruction of the morally righteous, intellectual monarchist society that our heroes nearly give their lives to defend.
Okay.
You ever notice that Lord of the Rings is kind of fucking racist?
No.
What?
Wow.
That was
That's amazing.
for once that was
Condone this video.
unexpected.
That's
Thanks everyone for coming. Have a great.
That's the angle he's taking?
Oh my god. Really?
we're gonna do Tolkien's racist. Fuck me. Hang on.
Okay,
Who's
you
that
didn't
super
get the
cat that
story.
said
You
he might have
didn't
some
get
good arguments.
You didn't even get the story. I didn't. I thought we're talking. We get something else this time, like some actual argument. Oh no, it's just a fucking racist bullshit again. Fucking hell! You didn't even understand the story.
And the way
Fantasy,
he went on about
all fantasy, all fucking fantasy is people from different cultures, different races coming together, forming a ragtag band of heroes and beating the evil guy. They overcome their prejudices, like Legolas and Gimli, and then we go on and then we beat the bad guy. And we learn that, hey, we're not so different after all, or rather, our difference actually complement each other, which is fun. Let's go drink.
And who cares if the bad guys are orcs or dragons or elves?
Why
or
do
whatever?
people keep thinking that orcs are black people? Have you noticed how most of these people who make these videos are racist?
He didn't say that yet, but that will be his angle probably.
He just said how Tolkien's racist.
Yeah, he said he said that it's racist, but he has not yet said exactly why. He has hinted at it. Yes.
Wisp.
He has not said the exact line yet. Leave me my own.
I love you to pieces, but no devil's advocate. No. We know where this argument's going. We've done this before.
I know.
31 minutes.
All right.
It's these stories, these fantasy stories are about overcoming your prejudices, overcoming racism. To overcome racism, you need some racism before that. Do you understand? You can't make a story about overcoming racism without having racism from the get-go, orcs or not.
Yeah. Okay. Let's
like
just
elves. Elves is the great example. Everybody hates elves because they're smudge-reagers.
If this is the
angle,
hate
everyone.
If this is the angle he's going with, we're probably going to finish a lot sooner than we thought. So
yeah, we're going to finish about 11 o'clock my time. It'd be quite good because that's only in 7 minutes.
No. Okay, that's true. That could happen. Okay.
That was an hour ago.
Yeah. Let's go.
I always saw like orcs and like all the villains of Lord of the Rings like the embodiment of evil, or like all the bad traits of humans, pretty much. Because like, I just like finished reading The Hobbit, and it's just pretty much like all the races, like elves, the dwarves, and the hobbits, like they don't quite like each other at the beginning, but when they had like a common enemy that like they had to like overcome, they decided to unite, and in the end they could like see friendship with each other, even though like they were really almost about to like kill each other.
It's like how a Cockney and a Northerner can put aside their differences when we have to deal against the Scots.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a real word. That's
the Scot. So
anyway, let's go.
Racism.
I had hopes.
Hi, my name is Sally, and let me be clear.
Your name is Sally?
No,
oh,
man.
Salamander.
No,
please, no.
Sally Salamander, I got you. Okay.
Not another.
Smud, no. Smud.
I'm fine.
Let me guess, you're trans since you're 35.
That's fine.
When you decided to be trans.
Let's just go.
Let's go.
Let's go, guys. Let's just go. Yeah.
Not Tolkien a racist. Okay, I mean, well, you know, he's not, but I mean, it's just.
Shut the fuck up and just
I think we're done.
You are the racist because you see this shit.
He's trying
to see orcs as black people.
He is trying to make a joke about Tolkien being racist by being unsure of himself, and I'm like, no, this is not funny.
He's not racist. End of story. No, but he made orcs are black people.
Can he make one coherent sentence?
Skip.
I honestly hope that from the title we would finally have an argument about literature. But no, it's just social justice, racism bullshit again.
That's me on the current frame, by the way.
31 minutes of this. Jesus fucking Christ.
All right, we'll try for 5 minutes. 5 minutes of this shit.
All right.
Okay, let's run it back. John Ronald Reuel Tolkien, or simply Tolkien, was a fantasy author born in the early 1890s and died in the early 1970s, living to a ripe old age of 81. Before his death, between the years of 1954 and 1955, he released a trilogy of medieval fantasy books that would go on to not only revitalize what many believe to be a dead genre of literature, but redefine it on a fundamental level. That trilogy was known as the Lord of the Rings. These 3 bludgeoning weapons of novels would go on to be considered...
Oh my god, this is recorded in stereo.
...the progenitor of all later medieval fantasy works to come. And that's not always a good thing. Now, these 3 books are of legend, and for good reason. I'm not here to say you're bad for liking Tolkien, or that Tolkien's inspiration on the fantasy genre should be entirely discarded because of the problematic elements of his work. However, as a wise woman once said, it's possible, and even necessary,
to simultaneously...
Okay, we're done. We're done.
Can we scrap this, please?
We're done.
Can we scrap
this? Is garbage.
This is just there's no.
A wise woman once said, "Give me a freaking break. Give me a."
You know what that reminds me of? Anyone who's watched Blackadder would know the wise woman's a fucking mad woman, and that's Anita Sarkeesian.
Yeah,
yes, she's the wise woman from Blackadder.
Yeah.
You want to solve sexism? Kill all the men in the world.
Whoever wants to finish this and tell us whether there's an actual argument here at some point, or it's just 30 minutes of socialist racist drivel. Please enlighten us, but I don't want to do not after this crap.
Do you guys want to cover another video? We can just cover anything. I don't really care. This is not.
Yeah. Just throw anything.
Yeah, I don't need another
fat dog video in stream memes.
Why is the second?
I don't need another fat lisping nerd who believes to be trans after being told by rainbow idiots to tell me that Tolkien is racist. Like, fuck off.
All right, the second one was, let me bring it up here. Why celebrity voice acting is killing the industry.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Sounds more reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Wow.
And the first thing will be, it's racist because the celebrities are all white.
If you're watching this...
Please
no. God, why do these people's voices sound like they're 14 or retarded?
Because they are both, maybe?
Do you know what logopedics are?
No.
It's speech therapy to get rid of your lisp. I was lisping when I was 4 or 5 because I couldn't handle the new teeth or losing the teeth. That's why I got a month of speech therapy, and then my lisp was gone. I was just 4 or 5 years old. It's not that hard.
What the fuck is what is the world?
Well, that's just racism.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, Smud, you know what's something's really funny?
What's that?
We actually decided to get rid of that Lord of the Rings movie exactly on 11 o'clock.
Nice.
It's still
so
a minute.
I said 7 minutes 11 is 11 here. So
okay.
Your German time doesn't affect me, Wisp.
I live next to the fucking atom clock or whatever you call it in English.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. That I should have probably watched that for more than 0 seconds.
What, a second?
Hey, at least we work together to dismiss the title based on the assumption there was an actual point behind it.
Not some kid
we did quite well.
Rambling on about his learned lesson from Anita. No, we're done. We're good. Okay. Let me read some more super chats. We'll get to the new video, which is the celebrification of voice acting. Starling.
Wait, hold on. So voice actors are celebrities.
I don't know.
Okay.
Don't worry. We'll get there. We'll find out. It's all new to us. We have no idea what they're talking about.
Oh, you know something? This illness is not going to go away doing these videos.
Here's
oh
Joe
my
Crazy.
God.
That went from 0 to 100 real fast. Yes, it did. Tyler Preston. Oh, shit. Here we go again. Yeah, and we finished it. Alexander Welch as DM modern D&D makes all races human acting. Oh.
Yeah, that's one more reason why 5th edition is shit. Play 3.5 or play 3.6, which is Pathfinder 1.
Pathfinder is D&D agnostic, but it's still pretty cool.
It's that's why we call it 3.6 sometimes.
Yeah. Plus, they're coming with a game next month. So yeah.
Are they? Oh, that's
Path of the Righteous. Yeah.
good of them.
Well, it's actual isometric computer game.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, cool.
Yes, we start what we did was just when Pathfinder came out, we thought, oh, these are better rules than 3.5. So we kept playing Dungeons and Dragons, but we used Pathfinder rules.
And you know what? There are so many classes and race. It's just so much fun. Like it just you go crazy with subclassing.
And technically, the initial rule books are really well done because they give you all these options for all these classes, all these variations, and it's all just to be an inspiration for building your own stuff. So that you have an idea of what would be a balanced thing when you come up with your own.
Okay, here's some more, and we'll get on the video soon. How fast did he imply orcs are black people? The first minute, I believe. I don't know why.
Pretty much the first sentence.
Yeah. Gala.
How many views did that have?
Or sorry, Gaiarai. How many views? Let me just. Do I even care?
No one does. Whisper doesn't. No,
maybe
they had
2,000.
more than it needed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where was I? How fast? Yeah. Welp, I was willing to hear him out, but then, no, it's not worth your time. Don't worry. And Vladimir Dragunov, also, orcs are black people is the free space on the bingo card. Really?
Yeah, it was. It is.
We did this too often.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have not seen the bingo card in about 2 months, so I don't know what was on it. Anyway.
There was just so much crap. It's just unbelievable what crap we've listened to over and over again.
All right, one donation, and we'll get started. Here's Wisp. Hey, thanks,
What?
Wisp.
What?
That guy bringing up Anita for why Tolkien is holding the industry back has the same energy as the people who quoted Hitler to support Palestine. On a side note, I am sick of celebrity VAs. Okay. Oh, jeez.
Oh dear Lord, the people who were quoting Hitler with Palestine, that was a bad day for the British Labour Party.
Anyway, here we are with the new video from Dog Eat Dog. This person has 19,000 subs. This video came out in July of this year and has 224,000 views.
Wow, that was a big hit for him.
Yeah.
And I might agree with the premise. Let's see his arguments.
Yes. So 10 minutes, 15 seconds. Let's go.
If you're watching right now, chances are you've seen this tweet or something similar to it. The celebrity voice acting discourse, if that's what you want to call it, is nothing new. You probably had similar feelings about the Lion King live action voice cast too, but it goes further than that. Let's get into it.
No money means no animation!
The original Aladdin from 1992 had as many controversies as it did legacies, the most famous of which involved Robin Williams. As a comedian and stage performer, Williams had the exact charisma and presence that Disney was looking for to voice such a largely flamboyant character. However, Williams agreed to play this role under one condition, that the genie not be a dominant part of the marketing around the movie. Disney further agreed that they wouldn't use him as a selling point for the film because Williams was not interested in his likeness being marketed. However, after Aladdin's massive box office success, this point came into contention. Williams was furious with their agreement being broken and refused to reprise his role as the genie in the second, worse, Aladdin movie, passing the heavy baton onto Dan Castellaneta. As some weird artistic apology or thank you, Disney tried to make it up to Williams by sending him a Picasso painting worth about $1 million. At that point, though, he began to openly criticize Disney in interviews. According to this 1993 LA Times article written by Robert W. Welkos, Williams stated, "You realize now when you work for Disney why the mouse only has 4 fingers, because he can't pick up a check. We had a deal.
Huh?
The one thing I said I would do was the voice. I'm doing it basically because I want to be part of this animation's tradition. I want something for my children. One deal is, I just don't want to sell anything, as in Burger King, as in toys, as in stuff." Then all of a sudden they release an advertisement. One part was the movie, the second part was when they used the movie to sell stuff. Not only did they use my...
Well, let's say Robin Williams was innocently naive about that.
Yeah, it's like...
No, he signed a contract. He signed a literal contract.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, I know that, but it's one of those things where it's a bit like...
It's
could
like
have seen it coming, yeah.
Let's see. It's like making a deal with the devil, expecting the devil not to take your soul.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like not to sell toys. But what was it? It's a genie toy. Was he expecting there to be no genie toys?
Yeah, the best they could do to uphold the contract was not use him and his talent, his voice, to voice advertisements or voice this or that. They can do whatever the hell they want with their character, which is what they did. But
they overdubbed it to sell stuff, so it wasn't even...
Yeah, they probably just used someone else.
In this case, I would say that this was not Robin Williams' fault as a voice actor at all. And this is where the argument is going. Celebrity voice actors, if you will, like it seems to mean people coming from different areas of media, like Robin Williams as a film actor and stand-up comedian. And we've seen other stand-up comedians like Chris Rock. In Germany, they did a similar thing with bringing some comedians in for some voice work for example, the German dub for Ice Age or Madagascar or Finding Nemo. And some of these actors are okay voice actors or fit the roles very well. In other cases, it seems ham-fisted because they don't have the actual talent for voice acting, which is a very special kind of acting, different from stage acting or any sort of a film or series or things like comedy shows, like similar to Last Week Tonight.
Yeah. So it just feels like he I don't know.
I thought this was going into. Go on.
Sorry, I'm just struggling with words for a little bit. Carry on, Wes. You just fill in. What
I expected this video would go into would be the uplifting of voice actors into celebrities that would then get so many roles that they get annoying because you hear the same voice everywhere, and that voice actor is only capable of one way of acting, essentially, which is themselves.
I want to know where we're going with in this video, because she's sort of
this is something. This is in a different angle, and I'm interested.
Okay.
Voice, they took the that I did and overdubbed it to sell stuff. That was the one thing I said. I don't do that. That was the one thing where they crossed the line. Side note, I tried to find actual clips where he said this, but I couldn't find them anywhere. The Gene Shalit interview this article discusses is cut up and strung around YouTube and ABC with no mention of Disney whatsoever, so take that as you will. If you want a more in-depth look at the Robin Williams Disney feud, Lindsay Ellis does a really good job at breaking it down here.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Today's gonna be one of those days.
Credited as a catalyst for putting celebrities and film stars in voice acting roles. In a 2011 article titled How Celebrities Took Over Cartoon Voice Acting, written by Scott Meslow, Meslow uses the term celebrification to describe a trend that goes deeper than just the insidious marketability of celebrity voice acting, directly basing a character's appearance after its voice actor. Quote,
what?
The examples range from Jerry Seinfeld Bee in the Bee Movie to Tina Fey-esque reporter in Megamind. But the apex is DreamWorks' 2004 animated film Shark Tale, which features creepy human-fish hybrids of actors like Will Smith and Angelina Jolie, end quote. Meslow also asked this, the main talking point of today's video, quote, With the marketing machine growing larger by the day, is there any room for a man of 1,000 voices like the legendary Mel Blanc in contemporary Hollywood?
Yeah.
I mean, is it true that the art of voice acting is dying because of celebrity marketability?
Okay, so wait. They are taking, this is what her argument is so far. Mm-hmm. They're taking a well-known actor, putting them in a voice acting role, and then depicting their caricature on screen.
Mm-hmm.
For the sake of marketability. I'm like, so what? What's wrong?
That is sometimes happening. That is another element that came into animation, but it's not the only reason why the classic voice acting is dying.
But that's
different in different countries. It has several different factors.
This
is not the actual that and this I wouldn't class as one.
Yeah, really. I mean, this is
a special thing. This is special. You make the movie with the intention of doing this.
Yeah, we look at certain video games, and I always reference Mass Effect because they popularized the cinematic quality of gaming, which is Martin Sheen. You have Mass Effect 2. That's a younger version of Martin Sheen, I would say. Same with Yvonne Strahovski. It's normal to want to do that. And they go, hey, great, can we use your face in the game? They're like, sure, why the hell not? I don't care. I'm getting paid the same.
Well, it's like in Dead Space when they actually gave Isaac Clarke, not Arthur Clarke, sorry.
Isaac?
Isaac. Because I was thinking Arthur C. Clarke, and it's Isaac Clarke. But when they gave him a voice, they've modelled his face on his voice actor, Gunnar Wright. So it's just something that it's just something that they do.
And nowadays they do that in studio, so that they do motion capture of the characters while they're acting, which is great.
Yeah.
While they're saying the lines. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing like this is not some horrific idea to get a well-known character. I think the one that really caught me was the guy who played the professional Leon. They use the exact same character.
I know something. His name is on the tip of my tongue.
But...
Yes.
Jean Reno.
Yeah, Jean Reno.
I'm trying to remember the video game. What was it called though? Was it just called Leon the Professional? Like, what was the name of the game?
What was the video game?
I know there's a level in Hitman 3 Contracts where it's like the last mission is literally just the professionals ending a scene, except like he gets away.
I honestly couldn't say whether there was a professional video game.
They put his character in a video game. I don't think it was called The Professional, obviously, but I do remember seeing that years ago. And this is when they were doing crossovers, like they put Dante in the Persona or in the Shin Megami series.
What?
Nocturne, yeah.
Nocturne, yeah. So they were doing all these, this is after Kingdom Hearts, of course, but they were doing all this stupid shit.
Oh dear Lord.
There was like what like Hitler in Persona 2.
Well, that was the first one, yeah, but that the second one he was the end boss, but
I'm way too ill to be hearing that Hitler was in a video game.
Oh yeah, no, they changed.
Yes,
it was amazing.
Then they covered him up with the sunglasses.
It was so funny.
What? Why? What?
Because he was too recognizable.
And they called him Fuhrer. He wasn't Hitler. He was called Fuhrer. It's like, I don't know who that is anymore.
Who is that? Who is that strange, mysterious man with the sunglasses?
With the sunglasses and the iconic mustache.
And that toothbrush mustache. He could slip into a crowd. He could be anybody.
It was amazing. Was it Onimusha? I think it was Onimusha. You might be right.
Oh dear.
Onimusha.
Oh god, man. Oh man.
Oh, it was. No. It was. Oh my god. Leon Dejac.
What? No.
Yes, it's a hit. He was actually motion captured for it too. Oh my god.
Well, job's a job, isn't it?
There you go.
How do you motion capture Hitler?
No. We're talking about. This is Onimusha 2 or Onimusha 3. I can't remember when it was done.
No.
Anyway,
on the topic, I should maybe clarify. There's a bit of a difference between original voice acting, like when you make the movie, make the animation, and dubbing from an original work and you translate it into your own language. And that's a bit. We also have that to a degree. Like we use the celebrity, as I said, we use the celebrities in Germany by now as well for translations, and we had a few really, well, not in the wider population famous voice actors, but very known voices. Let's say, like we have fixed fixed people who do Johnny Depp, fixed people who do Bruce Willis. Fixed people who do Arnold Schwarzenegger because he's not speaking himself in German. He offered that, but he was rejected because it sounds silly. Thing is, since around the 2000s, the early 2000s, late 90s, the dubbing quality in Germany has been going down the drain because it's gone really cheap. It takes random people off the street and take the first take. It's often very bad. There's no natural voice there. They all speak High German, and nobody speaks High German. It's like you read a text and it's a robot. It's a robot voice without any emotion. And before Hawk makes a joke that is all of German, no, it isn't.
What? Honestly, I wasn't even thinking of that joke. I was thinking of a completely different joke, actually.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
I was thinking of like the Gestapo stealing people off the streets for voice acting.
Yeah, well, and that's it's just going bad. Like the Game of Thrones stuff was like everyone is talking like this all the time in every scene, no matter what the situation is, as if everybody wants to kill each other, because they thought the premise of Game of Thrones is that everybody wants to kill and backstab each other all the time, so they all have to talk aggressive and murderous. Like I had no idea what I was watching. It was unbearable.
All right, let's
what
get...
Sean Bean sounds like with a German accent.
I'm sure you could find out.
He's the most Yorkshire guy.
Yeah,
but he's the most Yorkshire guy ever, and it's like it's really weird.
How about we watch Lord of the Rings in German with subtitles?
I've got to listen to it. I've got to listen to Germans for a long time.
Maybe Austrian.
The extended.
Yeah.
The extended. What? No. Listen, I'm ill. I don't want to kill myself.
Anyway, let's get back to the video.
Plus, we've got access to a tactical operations goldfish.
Yeah, that's true.
Ooh.
Let's do an exercise. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Now, on the count of 3, name a voice actor, and you can't say Mel Blanc because I just mentioned him, sorry. Literally any voice actor, though. And what I mean is someone whose primary career is voice acting. Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Chances
David
are
Nathan.
you probably drew a blank here, or you said Tom Kenny. And there's nothing wrong with that, clicking Tom Kenny, I mean. But do you see the point I'm trying to make here?
Nolan
The general
North.
public doesn't really know any voice actors by name, but we hear them all of the time. We're constantly disregarding voices, and there's a couple reasons why I think this is true. 1, it's an invisible art. Like I alluded to before, voice acting, if good enough, is invisible. If a voice actor embodies a character well enough, they've done their job. It never occurs to the general audience that there's a real-life person reciting lines into a microphone, sort of like what I'm doing now. 2, animation as a whole is underappreciated.
No, it's not.
What?
It's just true.
No, it's not.
What is she talking about?
What?
No. Animation
You're
is
wrong.
underappreciated. That's just true. No, it's not. I disagree. There, checkmate.
Like,
what?
Who does not love Kevin Conroy in the original Batman series?
You know what? I was literally thinking of a guy who just does voice acting, Kevin Conroy, or like even John DiMaggio, who was just shown there. He does voice acting. Steve Bloom.
Everyone loved Batman the animated series. Everyone loved Kevin Conroy.
Well, like there's Nolan North. Like if he's not everywhere, then I don't know.
He is.
You know what the funny thing is as well.
Guy.
You could actually even say Mark Hamill, because Mark Hamill started in voice acting before he became a movie star.
Yeah, Wizards.
Yeah, Wizard. That was a cool
That was a really cool movie, man.
Hey, a wizard solves a problem by shooting someone with a gun.
Yes.
Come on, Harry Potter would have been a lot shorter if they'd just done that.
So
we can all agree.
Maybe this person
should have made like Harry Potter. Goddamn.
maybe this YouTuber isn't aware of like animation in the past 30, 40 years that has influenced the West.
Japan literally has like an industry dedicated to animation, but okay.
Yeah.
Hang on, is that on the background? Does it say Best Actor and it just says Black People ? Crossed out?
Ooh.
Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, just
Fassbender, Penper, Spenper.
Yeah, because it's like spelling. I don't know.
George Clooney.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Kevin Firth. I don't know. They're trying to be funny.
Mark Buffalo, Sylvester Stallion,
Yeah.
Christian Snail.
Ha ha. Anyway.
Especially in the realm of adulation and award seasons and the Oscars. But if you can't get on board with that, sorry, I'm not clarifying. 3. Voice actors are often mistreated or underrecognized.
No, they're not.
Let's go more in depth with that last point I made, and harken back to the very beginning of this video. Space Jam.
Not more than not more than side characters in movies.
Hold on. We're doing Space Jam.
Come on and slam, and welcome to the slam. Slam.
How enthusiastic of you.
Space Jam, 1996 live-action animation sports comedy film starring Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny. In terms of production, Space Jam was a disaster. I mean, even with the technology that animators have now, the motion tracking feat of putting 2D characters in a 3D space is nothing short of impressive. But in terms of nostalgia, Space Jam is awesome. We love Space Jam.
What?
Okay, so, like, what was it with that Bugs Bunny?
How was it a disaster?
How was it a disaster?
The production?
What the fuck are you on about? It worked. The production was a disaster. It looked great.
I'm not understanding.
If it's production hell, it's production hell, but that doesn't mean the movie's a disaster.
Yeah, but the thing is that the thing about Space Jam is it took the knowledge from Who Framed Roger Rabbit to make it work, because that movie worked, and that movie came out 8 years before that in 1988.
Really, I thought it was older.
Yeah, 1988. Yeah.
I thought Roger Rabbit was much older.
No.
It is 88. Yeah.
Wow.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's one of my favorite movies. I watch it constantly. There's also a guy who screams exactly like Judge Doom when he dies that lives down my road.
Here is
so it's just stuck in my head.
Here's Vladimir Dragunov just to prove this lady wrong. Tara Strong, Mark Hamill, Clancy Brown. There's all kinds of actors we have
Clancy
known
Brown,
as a result of loving our animations and loving our video games. We go, who's this guy? Keith David, that guy rocks.
Troy Baker.
Yeah, he's pretty much everywhere too.
Oh man, the when Elisabeth Volkmann died, whom you do not know because she's a German actress and comedian. She was the original German voice for Marge Simpson, and she had this very, very special voice, this really super raspy tone that defines Marge, and when she died, really nobody knew what to do and whom to use for as a follow up for Marge.
Subtitles.
Well, when the voice actor actually dies, then you're forced to get a new one. And so that's when people do accept that. They used another female comedian. Don't actually know how her voice really went. I don't remember it because it's so long ago.
Yeah.
But when she died, it was like the Simpsons sound wrong.
Shit, I've even forgot about Seth MacFarlane. He's a voice actor that's famous for voices.
Okay.
Well,
I think she was referring to just voice actors.
Want to forgive.
Yeah, but I'm just naming voice actors now with stuff that are quite famous.
And we're all staying in the West because if once we go to Seiyu in Japan, and the list gets endless. And even in the West, we have a lot of famous people, famous voice actors that are not necessarily known for other work.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go.
Poster again. And now look at the credits in the tweet that I brought up at the beginning of this video. Notice something? Wow, nothing. No credits whatsoever. If you didn't know, because the poster doesn't bother telling you, the voice actor for Bugs Bunny in the original Space Jam movie is Billy West, also known as the new Mel Blanc. Hey, remember him? And predated the fad of celebrity voice acting. And in an astounding...
Hold on. That's because it's marketing to children and it's making out that Bugs is actually starring. It's Bugs as himself.
Yeah.
That's the
you have
joke.
only this Zendaya woman mentioned because they're trying to prop her up as he's a super special actress when she's not.
Jesus
That's why you got her name plastered everywhere.
It's just the joke is it's like Roger Rabbit is credited as Roger Rabbit, not the guy who plays him. And for the life of me, I cannot remember who plays him.
It's part of keeping the immersion in that instance.
Yeah. Okay, who's the voice actor of Jessica Rabbit? I don't know.
Redhead?
I've watched that movie. I've watched that movie 1,000 times. The only person I know in that is Bob Hoskins and was it Christopher Lloyd? That's it. So,
how can I go on with my life without knowing
who
that?
was voicing Female Shepherd?
Jennifer
Mass
Hill?
Effect. Yeah, she also does a lot of stuff. I think she did Leela in Futurama.
She does dozens, if not hundreds, of gigs in voice acting. She's very well known.
She's really good.
My favourite voice actor, Nicholas Bolton. Don't worry, no one knows who that is.
Simon Templeton, but that's
Jeff Bennett.
Well, he's the voice actor for Male Hawk, so that's why I like him. I love his voice. It's so good. Oh, you could make love to me with that voice.
And the as many flaws as that game has. Personally, I really like the choices of Nintendo of Europe for Xenoblade 2. Because they put all these different English accents on the various people from the various continents, and the cat girl you have in the party, she speaks Welsh and she keeps insulting everyone. It's wonderful.
Oof, Welsh. Oof.
So she doesn't speak Welsh. She has a Welsh accent.
Welsh is now seen as a white supremacist language, isn't it?
What?
And don't you want to be insulted by a Welsh cat girl?
Yeah,
well.
no, because they did a study, and Welsh means white, supposedly.
Really?
So it's a white supremacist language.
The whites.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's not what Welsh stands for.
We have a culture called the whites.
But all I know is I'm actually learning Welsh right now, just so I can be a white supremacist.
Oh boy. Okay.
I'm not even joking. You can look it up. They did a study and they thought that Welsh was a white supremacist language. I'm just like, cut your foot in.
I have to keep looking this up. It's not in the Wikipedia article. That sucks. The guy who voiced Asura and Asura's Wrath and the main character in Nier Replicant in the European version. He's really good. He knows how to scream. That's something a lot of voice actors have problems with, especially in German for some reason. Like they're all embarrassed and afraid to make noise.
The best screaming I ever heard is at the end of Mass Effect 3 when Steve Cortez crashes.
Liam O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
Liam O'Brien.
Oh, Jesus fucking! I thought Neil Breen was a real good voice actor.
No, not Neil Breen.
Oh, Jesus.
No.
This was like going to tirade about.
Don't insult this amazing talent.
Don't insult Neil Breen. He's like the greatest person ever.
Oh, look. I'll paste it.
I can't believe he committed suicide.
I'll paste it in the group. Shut up.
Hey! Oh, I'm ill. You would be nice to me.
It's this guy. Let's see. Does the site show what else he did? Oh, he did movies.
Well, as long as you're not connecting that with Tommy Wiseau or any of those other B films that you can appreciate because you like one element, it just happens to be like the weirdest thing, like the shoes, like the art department had really good shoes or something. It's like Tommy Wiseau, great voice actor. You're like, what?
Oh Jesus! Yeah.
Oh, apparently he did Gaara in Naruto, in the English dub.
Oh.
He did Doctor Strange in the animations.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Did he do other games?
Anyway.
Oh, he also voiced the book in Nier Replicant.
Oh.
Interestingly enough. Also the Doctor Strange in video games and Red Skull. What else do we have? Oh, and Darksiders 3, he voiced War, Angel Brute, and Demon.
Oh.
More Doctor
Strange.
Strange.
A long list of... long list of...
Anyway. 5
really
minutes
good.
in, we're
great guy.
done.
Guy. Let's listen to his stuff.
Let's go.
Interview with the AV Club in 2005, he had this to say about the state of voice acting. We do multiple voices. We used to save producers' asses because they'd hire you and say, well, we were going to get 6 people, but we can't afford it. Can you do this, this, and this? And you do them, and they'd be perfectly happy, and they'd save a bundle of dough. Now it's the exact opposite. The minute they mention a CGI film, they're already looking to see what Renee Zellweger is doing. They're already looking to see what Billy Crystal is doing. This doesn't make sense to do what they do. Spend zillions on visuals and then have this totally fucking flatlining voice track. You know, hey, I'm Will Smith, I'm a clam. I'm Will Smith, I'm a kangaroo. All you bring to the performance is your own ego. Hey guys, it's Olivia, and I'm editing the video right now, and I forgot to put in my script that I wanted you guys to check out this outside article from the AV Club that talks a little bit more about the mistreatment of voice actors during the original Space Jam shooting. It's really interesting, it's really sad, and Billy West is very on the nose about celebrity voice acting and whatnot in this one, so check it out if you're more interested into it, and back to the video. So this is obviously a very loaded quote from someone who takes their job very seriously. And in order to fully understand where West is coming from here, I want to answer a couple more questions. What is voice acting?
Oh my god.
How is it separate from regular on-screen acting?
Oh Jesus fucking wept.
Should you do that as
a voice
first?
actor important in comparison to a celebrified version of an animated character? Okay, so what is voice acting? Well, it's just as the name implies.
Wait, I think she got that sentence mixed up.
I don't care.
The role of a voice actor in comparison to a celebrified version of an animated character.
I don't even know.
That no. This is not what's happening. The animated character isn't celebrified, meaning turned into the celebrity, into a likeness of the celebrity. Those characters are already made, they're made in the image of the voice actor to begin with. We don't have already existing characters that are then changed into likenesses.
It's like, to be fair, like Shrek and Mike Myers are kind of like looking similar nowadays.
I'd say the closest, the best example of this is the Ants movie, where all the ants are already made after the likenesses of different actors.
Well, yeah, it's in their contract. The same with Yvonne Strahovski in Mass Effect 2. She was hired for the voice and face of Miranda Lawson. Voila.
And also other assets.
I don't think she has the assets of Miranda Lawson, but I could be wrong.
I will do some thorough research.
I will have to double that research, sir. And we will we will check back with our research later.
Yes.
All right.
Important in comparison to a celebrified version of an animated character. Okay, so what is voice acting? Well, it's just as the name implies. Voice acting is acting with your voice. But what does that actually mean?
Slow down, love.
How do you act with your voice? Most
can
people
I
think
Oh
of
my God!
voice acting, they think of animation and impressions. But voice acting is way more prevalent than you probably already know. You hear it in commercials, video games, dubbed over foreign movies and TV shows, audiobooks, radio shows, puppet shows, when you're playing D&D, when you're drunk doing your bad Kermit impression. I've said this before and I'll say it again, it's literally everywhere. And
I'm not
in
sure
that
she
way,
knows what
it
words
has a lot
mean.
of overlap with regular acting, while also having a lot of versatility separate from that. You don't always need an extremely...
Dude, when we actually roleplay in D&D or similar things, we don't just do voices. Sometimes we do the entire gesticulation stuff. You know? Depends on how much we're into the fucking game.
Yeah,
go on.
style voice. I mean, look at H. John Benjamin and Patrick Warburton. But your voice should embody your character and suit both the setting and the rest of the cast. Your voice should fit the character, not the other way around. This isn't to say that all celebrity voice actors are bad, or that no celebrity should ever voice act ever again, but I do want to point out that a lot of the time, celebrities aren't voice acting, they're being used as marketing tools, and in turn lose a significant amount of charm that made them a celebrity.
As are really, really, really good voice actors.
As is every asset you have at your disposal when making a piece of media.
Why is it so difficult for people to understand that the people who make movies, video games, TVs, and entertainment want to make money?
It's like when you hire John Williams. It's like, John, can you make an Irish jig for us? That'd be great. You don't hire him to do that. You hire him to have an orchestral, epic sound.
Yeah.
You don't hire John Cena to do his Robin Williams impression.
Yeah.
Why is this so? Why is this so difficult? Like, oh, it sounds like John Cena. Yeah,
God.
he can't act that well. He's John Cena. You could hear it in his voice. It's John Cena.
But the thing is, it's like, I don't know why they're showing this picture. Like it's just got a cow in it. I can't even see John Cena.
What is that? Yeah, what's going on?
The kids for whom these animated movies are made, they don't give a shit who these actors are.
Yeah, like a 6-year-old's not going, well, I would have enjoyed that movie, but the treatment of the voice actors really soured my mood. I'm gonna.
It's Chris Rock as this character. Like a kid doesn't necessarily know who Chris Rock is or gives a shit about Chris Rock because probably doesn't even get the jokes of Chris Rock.
And when their favorite appears, they don't really care if they give a good performance. They're just gonna be like, "Oh, it's John Cena."
Yeah, it's like, oh, I know him. He was from that thing.
Yeah, but kids don't go into these movies because voice actor. Kids still live in this magical world where it's just the characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, here's Tyler
They
Preston.
don't care that the Lorax is voiced by Danny DeVito.
Here's Tyler Preston for a donation. Thank you. Also, Wisp, you're wrong. It was Katie Seagal who voiced Leela, not Jennifer Hale.
Okay.
I also believe that reliance
Oh
on celebrity actors during animated films started with the first Shrek film and how successful it was. I think when you're popular and you're a celebrity or whatever, and you get asked to do something which is related to your craft, like acting, they'll be like, great, I don't have to run around. I could sit on a chair and emote and buy lots of drinks and get my back massaged, and that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them, especially in the 90s and early 2000s, did it because they did it for their kids. That was one of the main... when they've talked about it, it's always like, I want something to give to my kids. So they can watch it.
Yeah, that's a lot of the reason why they do it.
Wait, do you mean that Shrek, instead of just critiquing filmmaking and Disney especially, it made the industry worse? Oh no, the layers.
The musicals. Oh my God, we have to sing in our songs now. And Frozen. Like, talent? What's that?
Well,
God,
it's
in the translation, they don't even give a shit about making the songs rhyme anymore.
Oh yeah,
it sounds so horrible.
Talking about voice acting, actually bringing the Lion King. Who is it who sings for Scar? Because it's not Jeremy Iron. It's what's his name? Cummings. What's the first name?
Jim Cummings?
Yeah. He does the singing.
Really?
To a start, and in The Lion King, because Jeremy Irons' voice, he started singing. Was it "Be Prepared"? Got to the first line, his voice just completely cut out. He couldn't carry on. So Jim Cummings sings all of Scar's songs.
That's not even that unusual in a lot of the older Disney movies. A lot of them had different voice actors for singing and just talking.
Yeah. I usually just skip the singing part, so I never had.
It depends on the music. Some of the music's pretty good, but yeah, it really depends. Here's Francis Board Coppola. Yeah. Thank you for the donation. These days, I feel like the relative safe haven for VAs is in video games. Yeah, that's pretty safe.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, if Kojima has his way, even that might not be the case.
Kojima!
I want you to scream like you're being raped by a giant robotic alien. You're like, what?
Kojima!
Nah, Kojima just wants to put his friends into roles. That's it.
Oh, yeah. His director role, actor friends, whatever they are.
Yeah.
John Reddick. The old Disney movies had some of the best localization work in Germany. The Jungle Book got even lauded, held up as being better than the original, which after having seen both versions, I can agree. Even the songs in the German version are better because they put real effort into making the poetry work and staying true to the idea of the song.
German poetry.
Oh yeah!
Wow.
Oh, I never thought I heard the sentence. German poetry is quite good.
German is known for having some of the best poetry in the Western world. We had tons of poets in the past centuries.
Okay, well, name 6 of them.
Friedrich von Schiller, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, Hermann Hesse.
These aren't real people. These are just brands of sausages. I know.
I'm gonna pick one up on the middle.
I want some Oscar Wilde with my Robert Burns there, please.
Yeah.
It's a mustard.
Oh God. Heinrich Heine, Erich von Mörike.
Yes, the German language is a beautiful, literal language. It's very what you read is what you say, so it's very literal.
It's straight to the point.
Yeah,
it gets straight there. It blitzkriegs you almost.
Whereas the Austrians buy you a cake.
Oh, you've never read the Moon Knight. It's a beautiful little poem. Just two stanzas.
Yeah, but I can't read it. I can't read German. There's a major problem. You haven't.
There was a time when poets learned German to make poetry in German because they deemed it the better language for poetry.
This was during
for Germany, yes.
Yeah, this was
in like elementary school, yeah.
The Renaissance period of operettas and operas, Italian and German.
I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say like in Europe they started learning German, especially between 39 and 45.
Oh God.
No, not quite.
Yeah.
Maybe some spies did, but no, not.
I better learn some German because Jesus.
Time to learn some Chinese for my grandkids. It's like what? No. Anyway.
Ich bin ein Berliner. That's good enough. That'll be one stanza.
Here's Francis Bortocoppola again. Jeremy Irons sings the first half of Be Prepared, but blew his voice out in the lyric, You won't get a sniff without me. And Jim Cummings was called to replace. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
But they actually, with that, he got so far, but they don't actually use Jeremy Irons all the way. As in, like, it's cut even further back to make it flow better. So that's what I got told. But,
okay.
You know, I also got told Lion King's based on Hamlet, so I could be lied to.
Well, we're almost done this video, amazingly, so...
Hooray! I know. Yeah, this is great.
It's amazing.
Celebrity. Like, okay, yeah, it's not controversial to say that Beyonce is incredible. That really holds.
Oh!
Beyonce has been a.
What a fucking shocker! The black woman's fucking incredible.
Well, she's very talented. I'll give her that.
Holy shit!
I haven't heard one of her songs, but she's amazing.
Yeah, but it's just the way it's like. Beyonce is fucking incredible. I'm sure she is. Whoop-de-fucking-do. But fuck Mike Myers.
Yeah.
Fuck.
The bloke of the main character, yeah.
Fuck all the rest of them.
Shrek, what's that?
John Cena, who the fuck is it?
Cruella de Vil? Oh, who's that actress again? She's amazing.
Yeah, honestly, it was just the minute that she went, "Oh, Beyonce," I'm like, okay, a little bit of bias here, don't you think? Also, she was really rubbish in Gold, remember? It was not a very good movie.
It wasn't the best out of all the three.
Yeah. Michael Caine was okay.
Well,
he was phenomenal.
He's Michael Caine. It's, you know.
Yeah.
She has been a part of a couple movies,
Anyway.
and although she's a pretty okay actress, what we love seeing about her on screen is her presence. So let me ask you this. Does this hold any meaningful substance to you?
No.
I think some celebrity...
Whoa, what just happened? Something just flashed on the screen.
That was the strange CGI Lion King, I think.
To you?
But so what? It's a lion. It's a fucking lion.
That whole movie was a mistake. Everyone said that from the trailer.
What the fuck is going on here?
I don't know.
You're trying to find that flash, aren't you now?
That the problem of that movie wasn't the voice acting. It was the whole idea.
Even if they had used the old audio track for it, it would have been a bad movie.
Yeah. The voice acting was not the problem of that creation.
Smud, stop. You're fucking giving me a seizure.
We will never see it. It's only one frame.
Why did she do that?
Very low chance.
Why?
Why did she do that? What is it? What secrets does it hold?
It's the only interesting thing in this video so far.
Because she can't turn it to video.
But the thing is, it's like, look at this lion. Yeah, but that could have been voiced by anybody. Anybody could have voiced that. Pat Boone could have voiced it, and I wouldn't have got any fucking emotional relevance out of it.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, minute and 47 seconds left.
I think some celebrities do a pretty good job at fitting into their voice acting roles. Like I said before, I'm not anti-celebrities voice acting, I'm pro-voice actor. And I think an incredible amount of their hard work goes unrecognized in the public eye. I'll end the video...
So you're pro-voice actor unless they're a celebrity, is that what you're saying?
And what if, like, a famous voice actor becomes a celebrity?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is some part of her position that I agree with, but her argument is shit.
I don't agree with anything that she says.
Her argument is the caricature on screen looks like the celebrity, and that's bad. And you're like,
that
why?
I don't give a shit about.
Does she like Beowulf then? Because that looks nothing like Ray Winston.
Beowulf?
Yeah, the movie. Beowulf. Beowulf.
Was Beowulf ever shown in Beowulf?
Well, they had Angelina Jolie in Beowulf. That was pretty.
Yeah, but Beowulf. Yeah, Beowulf's in Beowulf. What the fuck? The story's about him. He's in it. It's voiced by Ray Winston. Everyone else looks like their actor, but Ray Winston doesn't, because Ray Winston doesn't look like a Norse hero. He just looks like a fat cockney from London. Could you imagine him running around?
Ooh.
No, not ooh. No.
I mean, I guess the only point I kind of get is that sometimes a celebrity voice actor gets put in just to have one, and they don't do well, like Matthew Perry in New Vegas.
Oh God.
Yeah, but that could also happen in just normal acting. Someone's put into the role and they just don't do well.
Right.
Like Daisy Ridley, or Brie Larson,
Will Smith in Aladdin.
Yeah, or Will Smith in After Earth, or Will Smith in Hancock, or Will Smith in a lot of things actually recently. He's on a bit of a downturn since Independence Day.
I would say since French Prince, but yeah.
Oh, same time as the Men in Black 2. I'll say that was his cut-off.
That's close enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
We'll give him Independence Day.
Yeah.
By asking this. Can Billy West really be the new Mel Blanc if stardom as a professional voice actor is practically obsolete?
It's
I
not,
wanted to make this video because, well, obviously I really care about animation, and I think even in the realm of animation, voice acting can be
I really feel like a big problem with this video is it would have been relevant
when you think of film.
maybe 10 years ago.
Maybe 20 years ago.
Maybe never, and it should never have been made.
Not in Japan. Japan's like been doing this for decades. It's like, what? Voice acting's huge. What are you talking about?
Definitely not in Japan. But, like, over
YouTuber,
here, you had people like
21 years old
pulling janitors and being like, "Hey, could you do a voice?
God.
Come here."
Oh my god, leftist, 7.5 shoe size.
What?
Enjoy it. Robot from the future, any or pronoun user. Woof.
Oh, we have no idea what their gender is. That's great. Thanks.
Oh, we could have called her a guy all the time. Awesome.
What the
You
dog
fag. What the hell are you talking about?
Hey, whoa! Less of the F words, but it's not coming from me.
Was that a girl? I have no idea.
Animation student bad at Japanese. No wonder you've only got 43 followers.
How did this get 224?
Thanks for making a joke out of my medical condition, you asshole.
224,000 views for shitty editing.
And no content.
No argument. And linking to Lindsay Ellis. Go watch Lindsay Ellis. Like, thanks.
That's probably what everyone did. They got so
I am getting more proud to become an old fuck and just hate the young generation.
Oh, you're
horrible, disgraceful idiots about everything.
I think I was hating the generation while I was in that generation. I was just like, oh, these kids.
That as well. That was because there was no chance to get in contact with other nerds. And now the nerds are ruined because all this socialist bullshit got into nerd culture. Thank you.
Why do we need to know that she's got a size 7.5 shoe size?
I don't know.
Why does she have
She just puts random stuff in there to be funny. It's just she's just doing this to be funny.
Oh, she's from Chicago as well. No one's funny from Chicago.
Has she actually written anything, or is she just one of those people who says, "Oh, I've been writing a book for 20 years"?
Expect her autobiography next year.
If she was like 50 years old, I'd okay, fine. But she's 21. I'm sorry. Maybe live a life first and learn stuff and experience things, then write a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you talk about movies that came out before you were born. Like, as in like stuff like, yeah, it was really bad. You don't know what it was like then. I lived during that time, but no one cared. But people were really bothering. No one cared. It's like
venture into look. This probably girl was born after Matrix came out, and is technically allowed to drive.
Sure, you know something. You know when you really wanted Y2K to actually happen, and then you see everyone born after 2000, and you're like, yeah, actually, you know what? It wouldn't have been that bad. The end of the world.
Mm-hmm. Now that we know what the future held.
Yeah. I really wish all the computers fucking stopped.
Well, I thought we were to fill in another hour, but this was done rather quickly. We have another minute. Maybe they're just going to talk about their Patreon or bullshit like that. Let's find out.
Hey.
Making, your first thought isn't really the Foley artist or the sound designer or the production designer or anything like that, most of the time. I think also the best voice acting
it is
can
because
be heard
I'm
through
weird.
TV, but especially cartoons. One thing that immediately comes to mind is Jeremy Shada's scream as Finn in Adventure Time, or Phil Lamar's entire role as Samurai Jack. Cartoons from Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network always seem to have a really good grasp on their voice cast. If you really study and listen to characters' voices a little bit more closely, you'll be able to pick up on a lot more than you probably think. Like, did it ever actually occur to you that Mr. Lawrence voices Plankton and Larry the Lobster? Or that Sam Marin voices, like, literally half the main cast of
Yes, because we actually listen. Because we have ears. Oh,
Did you guys know Liam O'Brien plays half of the people in New Vegas?
Yes.
Did you know that John DiMaggio doesn't just voice Bender but also Krusty the Clown?
The other half is Yuri Lowenthal.
Do you know about Troy Baker literally voices every single person in video game history now? He's kicked Nolan North out of that seat. The voices sound the same. I was what was it? I was like, what, 5 when I realised that the Hobgoblin in the Spider-Man animated series was Mark Hamill because it was the exact same voice. I was 5. And I realised that. It's not that difficult. Imagine just like using your ears. You can hear people who've got the same voices.
Also, why not put this before your Twitter ad?
Why just put this before every? Why just not just do it?
Well, at first I thought it was Doge at, like she was one of those crypto people, but it's Dog Eat. So.
Yeah, dog eat dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doge at Doji or something. I don't know. I guess I hang around too many investor people online. I have no idea.
Probably. I'm just really, really drained with these two videos.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh,
racist.
I need a drink. This is blah.
Show, or even that John DiMaggio's Jake sounds exactly like Bender. These things are
No,
fun
they
to
don't.
pick up on. I think it's exciting to go. Hey,
they do not sound the
I know their
same.
voice from somewhere. That's
I mean, you can tell they're both John DiMaggio, but they
when
don't
you're
sound the
watching
same.
Yeah, exactly. Jake sounds friendly.
And
Yeah,
John
but-
DiMaggio in Vampire the Masquerade doesn't sound like any of his other characters either, but it still sounds like John DiMaggio.
Yeah,
Who did he voice there?
The first guy, what's his name? The guy with the beard.
Oh, you're right. He voiced Jack.
Yeah, Smiling Jack.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
But
That
you
was
do that as
awesome.
well with normal actors. You go, oh, I've seen that person in something else.
Wait a second. Did someone just
Oh,
mention
that-
Vampire the Masquerade? Oh, great.
Yeah,
Yes.
John DiMaggio.
Now
was
I
in
have to install.
Smiling Jack.
He's
Oh,
Jack,
no,
yeah.
she didn't mention it.
There was another famous or more well-known voice actor in Vampire. Which one
I can't
was it?
think of it.
I think the
Steven
guy who played the Malkavian chief, the Malkavian boss. I remember that I noticed his voice from somewhere, but I can't tell you off of my head. It's too long ago.
Oh, God, I really, really hope there's some good street memes. I was like, great.
All right, let's
Praise
just
to God.
finish this
Let's
off and
finish
get the
this up.
memes.
something animated.
Yeah,
So
and
keep
the
an
thing
ear
is-
out, and I'll catch you in the next one.
No,
Bye,
wait.
bye.
Okay. Confused girl boy of ambiguous sex. The thing is, before you start noticing voice actors naturally, you have to watch a lot of stuff and play a lot of stuff, and then as you get older, you automatically notice that. When you're in your 20s, when you're in your teens, that's not necessarily yet the case. When you get to 30 and older, it's everywhere. You may not know all the names of the voice actors, but you do recognize the voices.
All right, guys.
Because everyone has their basic styles.
We're in stream
memes.
And if you guys don't know the game, this is Persona 2, not Eternal Punishment, but Innocent Sin, which we didn't get in the West until like 10 or 20 years later. I can't remember how long ago. So they changed a
No,
few
we got it on the PSP. That's when we got it.
Oh my God, you can-
jeez.
Yes.
I never played it there though.
It's like
I got the
two completely different
emulator.
people.
Unrecognizable.
And he's called the Führer, so it's like, yeah. Who could it
I
be?
mean, look at that.
Amazing. Game Freak, what is this? Neil Breen runs down a hill. No.
For 10
While yelling
hours.
for 10 hours. What the
Wow.
fuck, Mark? Why?
No,
Why
no
do you-
Neil Breen.
Because like Viz was talking so much about Neil Breen, so like I had to like get a sample.
I wasn't talking about Neil Breen.
Yes, you were.
No,
Yes, you were.
you're lying.
Yes.
So here's
You're a liar.
the wonderful world of English.
Take a James. Hey, James, heard of this, huh?
All right. Okay. How Tolkien holds back fantasy. Let's get us some treasure. Tolkien was racist. Orcs are black. Acid trap. Oh.
Isn't that the Mummy?
Yes. This.
Oh, I like that.
Okay.
Oh, we all die horribly, by the way.
This is from that first guy's YouTube channel, Warhammer's Nazi problem.
Wet.
Yeah, we're never going to cover that guy again. What a waste.
Yeah.
Lindsay Ellis did a good job explaining this doubt.
Yeah, I doubt it. I'm hard pressing that X. Just, no.
Believe it or not, there is a mobile game of Konosuba just came out. So, and it's pretty good.
Oh my god. No, don't say that.
Okay, it's pretty bad.
Good.
Okay. Wisp rant about woman inspired the creation of this meme. Tell us the disgusting truth about women. No, I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Oh yeah, from yesterday, the disgusting rant about the musky smells and the shit everywhere.
We were just scratching the surface.
I don't want to scratch anything around there, to be honest.
And that was not by Bears, by the way. That was by Damon. So
yeah,
just use Bears' likeness for the fun of it. I bet you can't even name a voice actor. Yes, I can.
Yes, I can.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Smudcast will not be doing the Tolkien video. That's all, folks. That's Mike Testa. You're right. The rage quit in a nutshell. We're sorry.
That's a wonderful clip from South Park.
We're sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Oh yeah, I know. You just put in the discussion about the Berliner. Yeah, I knew it was donut. I was making a joke about what was it? JFK said it.
It's not a donut.
That's a donut.
It's not a donut. Donut has a hole in it.
Well.
No, it's a jam donut.
Some donuts.
That is a jam donut.
Are filled.
That is a jam donut in the UK.
Jam donut.
Some are crullers.
Donut has a hole in it because there was a nut in the center that was pushed out.
No. There are different types of donuts. Wisp.
Some are biscoff.
It's called culinary.
Liar.
Yeah. Wow, that's.
There are other countries besides Germany.
There, Zeppeli.
Germany doesn't start at the Atlantic Ocean. Do you know? It doesn't go all the way. It's not boot shaped as well.
Lügner.
Wisp stares longingly at the map from the early 1900s. I just want you back. I just want you back. Germany, 1943.
Some are bayonets. There's all kinds of donuts out there, guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fun. And that is a jam donut.
Yeah. Well, every culture has their own name for it. Like even Ukraine has their versions of donuts, which I would not recommend. These are hard, but technically the same idea. Anyway, that was it, guys. That was 2 videos. I changed the title so everyone forgets the previous. Fortunately, I have to now scrub Twitter and Facebook again and repost this video because why would I ever mention that other one again? So thank you for tuning in. Why you guys recommended another one for half an hour of a soft voice of a guy trying to be clever, talking about Anita Sarkeesian philosophy. Oh.
Did anybody watch that damn video? Nobody actually spent more than. Did no one spend more than 5 seconds looking at that video?
The title was interesting.
Yeah, but
you can't talk about that.
Wisp, you are literally
that's not what was inside.
You are literally the person who sees a bear trap with a piece of paper saying, Alexis recommended. You disgust me. No wonder everyone bullies you.
We should probably get back to playing Among Us, just kill people. It'll make us feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I have an hour to kill. May as well.
Yeah. I've got. Do I still have the game?
It's free. You can download it for free.
Oh my God! I've still got it. It's hidden away next to Dominoes and Meme Generator. I found it, guys.
Anyway, guys, thank you for paying attention and watching us go through this crap. I don't know if we'll ever cover. Maybe we'll cover another video by this girl because her.
Never.
Well, I mean, we can at least hear her.
Maybe she'll say something.
Oh, you mean the last one? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the first one.
I'm having a very big moralities vibe from this person because it's just talking about nothing.
If she
trying to state facts.
Yeah, if she's getting over 200K views on this shit, she's another Neuralities.
Out of nowhere, absolutely nowhere.
Whatever the other one was, I never want to see anything from that person ever again.
The first one.
The first one, yeah.
Yeah.
The fuck.
I agree. Anyway, thank you so much. Keep the suggestions coming. Stay tuned for Friday, of course. As we all know, it's coming up on Friday. Our end of the month extravaganza. That is Maggie May Fish. And I'll have to consult Mr. Lord Commander Dunn on the suggestion he'll come up with. But we'll never run out of Maggie May stuff. She is a wellspring of comedy, for me at least. So, anyway, have yourself a good evening.